Good morning, folks. It's Saturday. Yay! And we're off. And I wanted to show you something. You know, everybody always says, how can I grow food, right? And a lot of times, we tend to like grass, and we end up cutting our yards. So let me show you something here. So as you can see, my yard is overgrown. Now, let's get down here. This plant right here, see the purple flowers? See how the purple flowers are coming off? This is henbit. This is edible, okay? And a lot of times you will find henbit right next to purple nettle, okay? This is also edible, but you see the difference? The purple nettle has triangle-shaped leaves, and they're all bunched together, and the henbit has more circular leaves, and they're spaced out, right? They're spaced out all along the stems. So this is the time of year that this is what you can harvest. But you can only harvest this and know that it's safe because of the flowers. Okay? Now, you will find this, once you have it going, all over your yard, right? I have a yard full of this, okay? And another thing I have in my yard is chickweed. Again, you will normally find this close to where your henbit and your purple nettle is growing. But be very careful. Be very careful. Because chickweed has imposters. Okay? And you want to make sure, right? See? This is all purple nettle. Look at that. I have got a huge harvest here. Okay? And you see the little white? See the little white flowers coming up? That's chickweed. Now, this type of chickweed is non-edible because it is not in a star formation on the flowers, okay? So, this is the only time of year that you can actually harvest safely, because you can see the difference, right? See, I've got it growing all through here. Now, also through here, you see this? This is poisonous, okay? So you need to be very careful when you harvest that you don't pull up poisonous plants with your edible plants, because they all like the same soil, okay? And see, this here is my elderberry. You see it's starting to pop out leaves. Let me tell you about elderberry. Elderberry likes to travel. So if you plant elderberry, you're going to get elderberry sprouts coming up several feet away from the main plant. Okay? So be aware of that. It does like to travel. Okay? And it spreads out. right? It's not just one trunk, it has several trunks. All of these are really good for your pollinators. I mean, your bees, your wasps, your butterflies. It's all very, very good for the pollinators, okay? This is also the time of year where you will notice this coming up. And this will look like it's going to be a flower. This is actually garlic, okay? And you can tell it's garlic because if you pinch a leaf, you're going to get the garlic smell. Okay, so when you're harvesting in the wild, right, you want to not only look at the leaves, look at the area that it's at. You also want to take into consideration the smell and what it looks like as far as the leaves go. All of this is my garlic bed, and as you can see, I have purple nettle, henbit, chickweed, all coming up with my garlic. So it's a mess, right? It's a mess. You would say this is a total mess. No, it's not. I've done this on purpose. So I will get a harvest of purple nettle and henbit, and then I will get a harvest of garlic, and then I'll be able to reuse the bed. Now, one of the benefits of letting the weeds grow like this is you give your pollinators something fresh to eat on first thing in the spring, and it benefits the soil. Okay, a lot of these weeds that we have growing in our backyards are very beneficial to the soil. So right now I have a lot of dead nettle, henbit, and chickweed growing all over my yard. And later on in the season, I'll have more grass coming up. Now, this here is wild onion. Okay? It just looks like grass, but it's wild onion. So I have that growing in my yard too. You can go online. You can go online and you can look up all of these types of plants to give you a better idea. I mean, I'm giving you the real basics here, but it'll give you a better idea of where to find it and how to harvest it and how to store it, right? So, some plants like daffodils, you cannot eat, right? Whereas, no, wait a minute. It's daisies you can't eat. Daffodils you can eat. Daisies you can't, but they look a lot alike. So anytime you want to go foraging, you need to have in your mind what you're foraging for and be aware of deadly lookalikes. Right? Deadly lookalikes. Deadly. This is a deadly lookalike. Don't eat it. Okay? This looks like it might be chickweed. It's not. But it's found in the same area that chickweed is found. Deadly lookalike. Always be aware with any new food. Always do the, okay, I'm going to rub it in my fingers. Do I have a reaction? No. I'm going to rub it on my lips. Do I have a reaction? No. I'm going to take one little bite. Wait a while. Do I have a reaction? No. Then that food is probably safe for you. Okay? This you should do with any new food. Once you know that it's actual food, do not go out in the wild and harvest things that you have not researched. Okay? You need to research it. And you need to be 100% sure of what you are harvesting. If you're not 100% sure, don't eat it. Okay? Because it could kill you. Right? So, I have things coming up in my plant beds that I did not plant. This is kale, right? This is also kale, different variety, right? Like I said, you need to be 100% sure of whatever you harvest, because it's a life and death type situation. This is even bigger kale. Again, another different variety, right? So, I let these go over the winter, and I let them grow up like this over the winter. And then I harvest about this time of the year. And I do this because of the flowers, right? I have all the flowers. I know what I'm harvesting. Now, like I said, I have poisonous plants in here with my purple nettle, and I know that they're poisonous. So I make sure that I don't harvest those, okay? Some plants which are good for us are not good for our pets. Okay? Rhubarb is a good example. Rhubarb is very poisonous to dogs. Okay? You don't want to give your dogs rhubarb. Sorry. A lot of people did that in the old days, and it causes indigestion, it causes digestive problems, yada, 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 yada. Right? I'm not a vet, but that's one plant that I do have that I keep my dog away from. But yeah, this is the time of year where we start getting out because it's starting to turn warmer. And we start looking at, clearing our garden beds and getting rid of things. I have worked very, very hard to remove as much poisonous plants as I can from my backyard. But you're not going to get rid of them all. Some of them are going to keep coming up, and it's just a matter of knowing what you're looking at. Now, I will also say, with any type of overgrown area like this, you don't want to reach in there with your hands, because also you have rodents, you have snakes, you have spiders, and you could injure yourself. So you always want to bang around the area to get rid of those, right? And you want to be careful, right? A little bit of common sense. Be a little careful with what you're doing. But one of the things that I think every prepper group should have is an herbalist. And I say that because herbalists are trained on herbs and how to, a lot of times, forage for them, right? Now, you might have somebody in your group that is really good at putting like turmeric and cinnamon and ginger and all this together, but they have no clue what the plant looks like. That's fine too, right? But you should have somebody in your group that has a basic understanding of wild edibles, because let's be serious, okay? If your group is on the move, right? You need somebody in your group that not only can hunt and fish, but can also forage for food, right? Because that is one of the top three things that you need to survive, right? Food, water, shelter, right? That's the top three. Everything else, right? So, my advice is, if you have an overgrown lawn like I do, is use a program that I use. It's an app that you can get on your phone. It's called LENS, Lens, okay? And you take a picture of the plant, and it pops up different options. You find the one that best matches the plant, and boom, you'll get all the information you want on it. I love doing this because I love to find out about new plants, right? And trying new things. Now, for me, as lovely as all this purple nettle is, I can't eat it. I can't eat it. Okay? Remember what I told you. Whenever you have a new food, you want to try it, right? And see if you have any kind of reaction. I have a reaction to purple nettle. I don't have a reaction to henbit, but I do to purple nettle. So there you go. Be aware of that, right? And don't just assume, oh, my yard's overgrown, I gotta cut it. Da, 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 da. You know, you might have food right in your backyard and you don't even know it. That's all I got for you today. Bicycle.